There's great nobility in service. And, we always talk about, who do you fight for? The guy and the person on the left and right. And I guess it really comes down to that. But man, it's like accountability, dude. I sense that our leadership, their example is breaking faith with those that are serving under them. Because I was always raised like, do as I say, do as I do. And I'm telling you, man, working at the Pentagon and you get exposed to all the politics and how that works and the general officers and how advancement goes there. I literally was like, I'm seeing people that are do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, that's bullshit, because that's not the way I was raised. And I'll tell you what, I'm hearing it when you see these decisions. Now, the political civilian leadership can make any decision they want. They're allowed to. That's how it works. There's that senior military level that is supposed to provide their advice. And the fact there's a disconnect, I think, with a lot of the people that are seeing stupid civilian decisions that are being made and military leadership not standing up and saying this is wrong. And so they're down there in the trenches, right? They're down there in the team room, and they're being brought up in a certain way. Speak your mind, integrity, ethics, morality, all that stuff that was embedded in us as warriors, right? And then they see their leadership not acting the same way. There's a dichotomy, a disconnect, and that to me is like, that's what really worries me, man. It's like there's a breaking of faith and trust and confidence. That's what I'm seeing.
I see it too, and the few acquaintances, friends that I have left in the community, in the special operations community, which is not very many anymore, they all say the same thing. They don't trust the leadership.
Did you feel that way when you were in SEAL teams?
No.
There was always one.
Yeah,
there was always one
a
officer,
handful,
but you knew who they were.
All in all, no, I didn't feel like that. I did start to feel like that. I'm going to get my years messed up. I really started to feel like that. I did a deployment with the agency in Lashkargah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was supposed to be, from what I was briefed, the biggest offensive force since Fallujah. And I remember when the ROEs came out. Now, I didn't fall under those ROEs.
Right.
That was the Marines that were going to take that entire. I think they were going to take the entire province, if I remember correctly. But I remember when the ROEs came out from the administration at the time, which was the Obama administration's, it was, if you are shot at and the enemy drops their weapon, you're not allowed to shoot back. And when I heard that come out, that was a turning point in my mindset where I was like, these fucking people that we're fighting for give a shit more about our enemy than they do about us. These people are chopping our heads off. They're dismembering us and stuffing our fucking privates in our mouths. They're burning people alive. They're beheading people. They're raping fucking girls.
And boys.
And they're raping boys. And this is our ROE. What the fuck are we doing here? And it seemed, you never know because it's the media, right? But, and they do a great job at propaganda, but, and then you look at the media and they make it appear like everybody in America back home is like for this shit. And you get the feeling like, what the fuck am I doing over here, man? These people, they don't give a fuck if I'm over here. The VA's a disaster. It's a disaster for all these guys coming home. I've told multiple, I haven't told, but that's what this show started as, is a platform for guys to tell their story. And look at the fucking trauma these guys are dealing with when they come home.
But we made a decision. This country, and this is why this is important to me, beyond here. We made a decision as a country, like strategy matters. I don't know what that means, to tell you the truth, but we decided to fight a war with one formation, our special operations formation, right? They deployed again and again and again. Now, big Army, big Marine Corps, they deployed as well. So I'm not like, this isn't like giving the finger to all those that served as well, because it was necessary. Well, it probably wasn't necessary if we would have just kept it a special operations war, but nonetheless. So I always get yelled at like, oh, you're diminishing the sacrifice of conventional forces. No, I'm not. But the force that fought this counterinsurgency, counterterrorism war were special operators across all of the services, and like the sacrifice, man, and that like I just remember like there's this thing called Mission First Men Always. This was some sort of thing that we always were trained on. Mission First Men Always. I was like, I don't know what that means. And I'd always get yelled at for asking this question. Like, hey, what does that mean? Well, and I'd get this tap dance. I'm like, actually, they're mutually exclusive in combat. And I'd be like, but there's going to be a time where you have to go, this man is going to be destroyed to accomplish the mission. So what are you saying? Why don't we just call it like it is? Let's just be honest with each other. The mission comes first.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that. But my problem is we sold the military as some sort of, opportunity for improvement and all that stuff. And that's good. But at the end of the day, it's about combat. Mm-hmm. And you as a fighter, you need to recognize you're completely expendable. I always knew I was. But I would always I felt bad. The moral guilt thing is when you'd have a kid and you're like, get in the truck. Huh? No, we're going up that road and somebody's going to get blown up, and it could be you.
Yeah.
And the kid would look at you and be like, I was like, this is what we do. I think if we were just more honest about the essence of combat, but then that comes back to your point. Would anybody ever join if they knew? I think they would, actually. I think if we were just honest with everybody and didn't see this as some sort of jobs program or some shit like that, it's like, no. That's my hobby horse, man. I was like, just be honest about the nature of what we do or what they do in the military. And I think there's too much confusion about that. We one formation. I mean, yeah, and you just like, it's all right, but the trauma that has been inflicted on a whole generation of special operators is you see it.
It's a shame, and
you think it's preventable?
I think it would help a hell of a lot if the country was behind us.
I think it would help a hell of a lot too if we fought our wars understanding that you can't, like, that comes down to special operators can't be mass produced. Like Shinseki, Army Chief of Staff, gets fired because he said, don't fight a 12 division war with 10 divisions. When we went into Iraq, Rumsfeld fires his ass, right? But he's absolutely right. Like, these are the decisions that matter, and the American public needs to understand, like, oh, how much we spend in defense matters, how big our army is. And then, like, don't take on a 12-division war with 10 divisions. Don't take on a special operations war with too few special operators. Dude, we just burned through them.
Yeah.